Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I will be discussing the do's and don'ts of taking care of land to include heir property. If in the past year I've been a Woodlands community advocate, known as a WCA, for instance for Heirs Property Preservation, which is headquarters in Charleston, South Carolina, but they also have a satellite office in Orangeburg, South Carolina. But as a WCA, but more so as a heir to property, I've been dealing with family, as well as trying to resolve the heir property management and legal issues that my family is associated with here in South Carolina. So in 2017, I brought a quiet title action to the court to resolve the legal issues such as the unclear title that was presenting some risk to the property, in the means to one, clear title and produce a current updated deed to the property, basically determine who are the rightful heirs and owners to the property. If you are watching my other videos, you may know that already. If not, please go watch my other videos, and I will leave links to those videos in the description below. That give you better insight of what I'm talking about when I talk about the heir property issues, as well as my experience. However, but this video, again, is talking about the do's and don'ts for taking care of your land, but in some cases, it could be about heir property. So I will speak to it about this list here that's created by the Center for Heirs Property, based on my experience, based on my knowledge and the things that I've learned in dealing with heir property, as well as working as a WCA for the Center for Heirs Property. Before I get into it, please subscribe to my channel, as well as subscribe to my channel to bring more awareness to the subject of heir property and the issues associated with heirs property. If you definitely like my content on the subject, please also give this video a like. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the Center for Heirs Property, I mentioned this before. Actually, the proper title is the Center for Heirs Property Preservation, or known as CHPP, has created this list of do's and don'ts, and I'll put up here on the screen. Actually, I will leave a link to the actual list that's on the Center for Heirs Property's website. It was created, in my opinion, to help people not fall victim to the predatory practices that's brought on by people, as well as big corporations that may prey on heir property. Basically, essentially, they're trying to acquire the heir property from people who either own land or heirs to property. So this list can help people who own a property, as well as people who are heirs to property, preserve and protect their interests, the property from being lost or sold due to delinquent taxes, so essentially at a tax sale, as well as due to unresolved legal issues. Once again, so I'll leave the link to the website, as well as the link to the list that's on the website for Center for Heirs Property. And actually, if you watch later in the video, I will show you the website, as well as to define pertinent information that I'm covering here in this video, such as the list of the do's and don'ts, as well as briefly discuss as well as describe the Center for Heirs Property and their purpose and what services they offer to the public. So yeah, I'll show the list, additional information to include upcoming events that's right here in South Carolina, such as free will clinics, as well as some seminars that they offer here in within the state of South Carolina. Okay, so this list, there's about 10 do's and don'ts. I'm not going to cover this in order, but you can find more information about it actually on the website. But I'm going to cover the list based on what's appropriate, as well as what's meaningful to me based on my experience. So again, I talked about the list is can be found on the website. Okay, so the Center for Heirs Property, I mentioned this before. Actually, the proper title is the Center for Heirs Property Preservation, or known as CHPP, has created this list of do's and don'ts, and I'll put up here on the screen. Actually, I will leave a link to the actual list that's on the Center for Heirs Property's website. It was created, in my opinion, to help people not fall victim to the predatory practices that's brought on by people as well as big corporations that may prey on heir property. Basically, essentially, they're trying to acquire the heir property from people who either own land or heirs to property. So this list can help people who own a property as well as people who are heirs to property preserve and protect their interests. The property from being lost or sold due to delinquent taxes, so essentially at a tax sale, as well as due to unresolved legal issues. Once again, so I'll leave the link to the website as well as the link to the list that's on the website for Heirs Property. And actually, if you watch later in the video, I will show you the website as well as or define pertinent information that I'm covering here in this video, such as a list of the do's and don'ts, as well as briefly discuss as well as describe this for Heirs Property and their purpose and what services are they offer to the public. The first don't is don't wait to resolve the Heirs Property issues on your land. The sooner you do, the sooner you can qualify for many programs that are beneficial to you and your land. And there's three, in my opinion, three do's that coincide with this. Again, you can find this on the website. It goes inside with this don't is do give the center a call for more information and as well as advice. And the number is 843-745-7055. Again, you can find this information on their website. You can contact them through email, which is also on the website, their Facebook page, as well as their Twitter account. Also, do resolve your property issues and seek legal help you may need. Do educate yourself on land management practices and opportunities. So again, don't wait. Use these three do's as a stepping stone to point you in the right direction to resolve your issues. Again, I've taken the time to educate myself for as what is the heir property, what makes heir property, what are the risks associated with it, and how to resolve it. And trying to use the knowledge that I gained to educate my family and others who have interest in a property, who are heirs of property, but also may have interest in a property. But I do so to spread the word about this issue so that others can know about it, as well as can help prevent them and their families from losing their land, as well as their vested interest in heir property if they own heir property or they're part of heir property per se. So let's go on to the next don't let your interaction distress your family and your children. Also, don't wait to make estate plans or get your will drafted. And the do's for that is do work with your family, especially the younger generation, to create a shared vision for your land. Write down your goals for realizing that vision. Do collect and keep safe all documents you have pertaining to your land. Be sure to obtain a survey, plat, and a deed. This is very, very, very key here, very important. Again, when I first got involved in dealing with heir property, my family's heir property, I didn't know none of this stuff. And granted, I traveled down to Charleston, South Carolina with two members of my family, an uncle and a cousin, to meet with the attorney for Heirs Property. Goes by the name of Mr. Josh Walden. He's one of the attorneys there, but now I think he's in a different position. But anyway, so I went down and met with the gentleman, and he, gave us free information. We had that 1 hour free consultation, and explained to us, what are laws on heir property and what are the ways to resolve it. So it's best to take action. And again, don't wait, and don't let your inaction, the ability to not to do anything, you waiting on it or praying on it or thinking that it's going to resolve itself, it's going to make matters worse down the road, especially for you and your family and others who may have an interest in their property. Again, there's risk associated with not taking action. Again, something can happen where taxes are not paid, land is now is going through a tax sale, or it's going to be acquired by a predatory investor or developer who actually may have brought up or purchased shares of the property for someone who is frustrated in the property management and legal issues, and rather just get their share now instead of dealing with it later and dealing with people who may be parts of their family. But yeah, so dealing with your family, sit them down and include them to the conversation, talk to them, educate them, talk about the goals and desires and wants and needs in order to preserve and protect the property. But also doing that is do the research on your family, build out that family tree, and do some estate planning. Again, attend some of the seminars so you can have a will for all the heirs. So in the event that something happens to parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever, that they identify who their heirs are and their interests will be transferred down to their children, their spouse, and whoever else is named in the will. Again, and definitely keep all documents. That's one thing I've done since I've been involved is I've talked to my aunts, uncles, and cousins and acquired documents that they had in their possession, archive the documents to include documents that's at the deed office, the clerk of court, any documents that was filed during the court process. I have copies of everything. I want to make sure that the copies are archived and safe, and that everybody pretty much knows what's going on. Now, granted, everybody was wanting to know; they didn't care to know, but I try to do my part to make sure that I at least educated myself and educated those individuals who wanted to know and showing them documents. It's not keep for myself, but I did this to make sure that the future generations will have the information to use to best to make decisions for the property moving forward. Okay, moving on to the next set of do's and don'ts. Don't underestimate the value and potential value of your land. Don't try to manage your land alone. Seek education, the help of professional foresters to realize the most from your land. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You will make better decisions about your land if you get the answers to all of your questions. And the do's, do keep asking questions until you get the answers you need to make decisions about your land. Again, is having the information, right? Those who are informed can make better decisions. Do contact the South Carolina Forestry Commission for advice if you own more than 10 acres. This is also very important too, is again, making well-informed decisions, but based on the information that you have, not just information, but also as educating yourself and having conversations with family, seeking the legal advice from the Center for Heirs Property or or attorney, attending some of the seminars, asking questions. But before I get into that further, I definitely want to take this time to talk about the Center for Heirs Property and show you their website and where to find the information on the website. So here you go. Okay, what you're looking at now is the Center for Heirs Property website. Again, you can find it at heirproperty.org. So you come to the website, there's the menu here, and under the menu you have the home, protect your land, put your land to work, who we are, as far as who's the staff for the Center for Heirs Property, support our work, events, and learn more. So scrolling down, you see where they have their pretty much the 3 buckets of work there, who they are, that they help families protect and keep their family lands, build generational wealth, and grow working landscapes. And here are the disciplines. Legal, forestry, education. I pretty much talked about this in some of my videos, as well as talking about the do's and don'ts in this video. But to protect your land, let's go here. Again, they offer legal education and direct legal services. So my cost be at a cost to the clients, to you and your family. But there's some services that are free, such as the free wills clinics that you and your family can go to draft wills, get free wills. But if you call their office or contact them and you actually go into their headquarters, there might be a cost for their will. Again, you can find all this information on the website, or you can contact them for more information. But again, they have these services to help families reach agreement, clear title to the family land, and probate estates if it is necessary. Again, here's your 3 buckets of work: prevention, resolution, and sustainable land use. Again, there might be a cost associated with the legal fees or legal services. Here you can see where they have the what counties that they're operating in. Right now they have 22 counties within South Carolina that they're licensed or have the authority to operate in, provide services to the residents in these counties. There's a contact number. Again, contact him. You can get 1 hour free legal consultation with the attorney at their center, so forth and so forth. And actually get to the do's and don'ts list. Click on this link here and take you right to the list. Again, the topics that I covered, the do's and don'ts was not in order. That's just displayed here on this website, but I did cover, or I'm going to cover all of the do's and don'ts, just not in order. And then there's more contact information. There's their address, their phone number. You can email them, their Facebook page, as well as their Twitter account at Heirs Property. For the events, you go to the events page of the website and it'll show you the list of events they got coming up. Free wills clinic, there it is. Free Heirs Property seminar and clinic. And it talks about the legal side of the Heirs Property as well as forestry. So you can come here, you can find out what events are happening within your county or the nearest event to your county within the state of South Carolina. Personally, I've attended some of the events, the seminars, and during the global pandemic, when most of the world was shut down, Center for Heirs Property did offer events online via Zoom. So I attended some of their seminars virtually on Zoom and recently in person. So there's a lot of good information that they have available if you so much interested in knowing about more Heirs Property and how to best resolve Heirs Property issues. You need a will. Again, reach out to them and attend some of their free wills clinic. Okay, that's in a nutshell. Let's get back to talking about the do's and don'ts. Okay, now back to the list of do's and don'ts. So I talked about contacting the Forestry Commission if you have more than 10 acres of land. Again, this could be your land that you have purchased, or land that your grandparents have purchased. That's not associated with heirs property, but also this applies to individuals who are heirs to property have 2 more acres. Definitely contact definitely contact the Forestry Commission in your state. If you're here in South Carolina, it's the South Carolina Forestry Commission. I did this when I was one of the 5 managers for the property. I sat on the temporary board. The first thing I do want to know is about cutting timber or harvesting timber, how to do that. But in order to do that, you need to know what's on our property and what's valuable, what trees are on our property, what timber is on our property. So I contacted South Carolina Forestry Commission, a gentleman that was within a county that the land resides in, and he came out and he did his assessment and he produced paper copies. He gave me a soft copy and hard copy, and basically spelled out what was on the property, where the area's at. He labeled them. He had a map, everything, and it was very easy to read. Granted, I probably didn't understand everything, but again, he asked questions, and then I took that information and I contacted for Heirs Property to get better a better assessment, to have that working relationship with Heirs Property to know what is that I'm reading in the commission's assessment of for timber on the property. So again, seeking out the professionals, asking questions, educating yourself, and not just yourself, but your family, sharing the information to let them know that, hey, you're part of this too. We can do this together. Bring them on board so they understand. So moving forward, there will be no issues, management issues, legal issues, as well as family issues. Okay, so moving on to more do's and don'ts. Uh, this is part of the reason why you contact this Heirs Property as well as the Forestry Commission, so you can understand the rules and laws and how best to manage your forestry and not fall victim to timber companies or individuals who promise you, a pot of gold. Don't sell your timber without first consulting a professional forester. Ask before you ask. Ask before you cut timber. Uh, don't trust anyone who knocks on your door and offers to cut your trees for quick money. Your trees may not be your trees may be worth a lot more than they are offering. Don't sign anything until you fully understand what you're signing. Don't be intimidated by people who are pressuring you to do something with your land. You have the right to say no and seek before doing anything. Right, this is very important. Like I've heard the horror stories, and even in my case, dealing with heirs property, there's documentation to where at one point in the past the timber was harvested, right? And not sure if it was a good deal or a bad deal, but again, archiving the data, archiving information, and using that information and moving forward and making better decisions on such as this, the do's and don'ts, what to do, what not to do, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, what's legal, what's not legal, right? Asking questions, seeking the professional advice from the forester commission as well as from a Heirs property, because on their staff they have attorneys, lawyers, they have foresters that have been trained, whether here in South Carolina or around the nation, but they know what they're talking about. Right? They're paid professionals. Granted, since Heirs Property is a nonprofit organization, so they're not getting paid from you, the client, other than for maybe some of the legal services they offer. But they get paid from the state or federal level, depending on the work that they do. So that's it in a nutshell. And then, this is the last do is, for me, this is more along my speed, along my efforts to spread the word about this Heirs Property as a WCA, but as well as my experience in dealing with Heirs Property is spread the word about the center's work so that your neighbors and community can all benefit from proper land management and retention. Again, this is about preservation. Preservation is in the title. The Center for Heirs Property Preservation. Well, it's protecting your property, protecting property for the community. Individuals that live in the county, live in the state, that own land. Again, if it's a substantial amount of land, even down, from an acre down to up to 10 acres or more, that's land that you can use to harvest timber, farm, leave to your family, to your children, your grandchildren, whatnot. So again, reach out to professionals, and then you definitely should spread the word about the good work the center is doing, right? Word of mouth, networking. If you know somebody in your community, a neighbor, family member that can benefit from the center, that can help them preserve particular property, why not spread the word? So that's why one reason why I came with WCA is to bring awareness to the problem set. Again, the Center for Heirs Property offers seminars, free will clinics, and if you happen to attend one of the seminars that deals with the legal issues as well as talk about forestry, you may receive a pamphlet here, and it has all information in here. Even has the topics that I cover about this, the do's and don'ts is covered in this pamphlet here. So a lot of good information in there. Again, got any questions about what I'm talking about here, you can leave a comment below, or you can contact Center for Heirs Property. You can call them at was 843-745-7055. Go to the website, email them. You can find them on Facebook and Twitter. And again, I'll leave the link to their social media accounts as well as the website in the description below. But last, before I wrap this up, I definitely just want to take the time, take the time to discuss WCA and what's my purpose. So as a WCA, which stands for Woodlands Community Advocate, and this is a volunteer position for me. I'm not getting paid. I'm doing my best to make sure that individuals like me who live here in South Carolina, that own land, a substantial amount of land, that are heirs of property, understand the risks associated with that. Make sure that they understand that when you own land and something may happen to you or your family members, that be prepared, have the documents prepared, such as a will, do the estate planning, communicate with your family, talk to your family, that they can understand the do's and don'ts of heir property and how to best in management, as well as for heir property as a whole. Because without an agreement between all heirs, it's going to make matters worse. It's going to make things worse. Again, there's several risks associated with heirs property, and if you want to know more about heirs property, I can definitely do a video on what makes heir property. But again, there's information here, and this pamphlet briefly talks about it. You can go to the website and contact us for heirs property to learn more about what is heirs property, what makes it heirs property, what are the risks associated with heirs property. But I may do a video, but on discussing with the WCA. So I'm an advocate for the Center for Heirs Property here in South Carolina. I basically liaison between the Center for Heirs Property and county residents to spread the word about the Center for Heirs Property, because the staff is limited, and they only have 33 people now at the time of this video on their staff, and they're planning to branch out. So they're licensed to operate within 22 counties, but they have 20 plus counties to go. So they're hoping to cover all counties within the next, I'll say, 2 to 5 years. But it's going to take time. It's going to take more time, more energy and effort to get the word out there that the Center for Heirs Property exists, that the center as well as the staff are here to help spread the word and bring awareness to better help people who have land, who want to protect their property, protect their interests, whether it's heir property or their personal property, as well as to build that generational wealth, prevent the land loss here in the South. Again, you can find this information right here in the pamphlet. Again, you can attend some of the seminars that they offer here within the 22 counties in South Carolina, or you can definitely call the number, visit their website, their Facebook, and contact them. So that's all I have for you. I appreciate everyone watching my video. Again, if you like my content, please definitely give a thumbs up, like my video, share my content, and I appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, take care.